Hi guys. Hey, come stai?
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Benvenuti a Viterbo.
Nice to meet you.
Buongiorno.
Gianluca Di Prospero is a Templar investigator, and he's gonna show us a few things around Viterbo today.
Rick Lagina and members of the team have traveled some 65 miles northwest of Rome to the city of Viterbo, Italy.
Viterbo was an important crossroad, and for 24 years, Viterbo was the center of the Christianity and the known world.
They have arranged to meet with Gianluca Di Prospero, an author who has spent more than 2 decades researching the medieval activities of the Knights Templar in this region.
What is the Templar connection with this area?
Nella chiesa ci sono numerosi simboli che ora vi volevo far vedere. Sono riconducibili ai cavalieri templari.
Actually, he found some interesting symbols in a church that is very close to here. It's called Santa Maria Nuova. There might be some Templar connection.
I'd say let's take a look.
Chiara?
Sì?
Founded in the 8th century, Viterbo became the temporary headquarters for Pope Alexander IV and the Catholic Church during a time of civil unrest in Rome. During that period, the city also served as a stronghold for the Templar Order.
Eccoci. Allora, siamo all'interno praticamente della chiesa di Santa Maria Nuova. L'origine della costruzione è intorno al 1080.
This is Santa Maria Nuova, a church built in 1080. As you can see, it's full of paintings, carvings, and symbolism.
What's hard to believe is this was built in 1080. Unbelievable. I think there's a lot to learn here, so let's start an initial investigation and see what we come up with.
Okay.
If you see anything at all, flag everyone else down. Okay?
Great idea. Okay, let's do that.
The church is an incredible edifice. It's beautiful. Churches were, even though they were public, they held secrets of their own. And we need to learn as much as we can.
Hey guys, come take a look at this.
What did you find, Pete?
I think something pretty interesting. It's unmistakable. Cross with the 4 dots, same as the HO stone.
E non è un caso che questo tipo, diciamo, di croce si trova in posti molto importanti, dei luoghi dove poi ho trovato anche della simbologia templare.
He says that these 4 dots crosses are marking special places that Templars used to be in and or around.
Legato alle illustrazioni delle sacre reliquie. Qui abbiamo per esempio il Santo Graal, che è molto rappresentato, e qui ritroviamo questa croce che, come dire, è una sorta di sottolineatura.
This is also present in places connected with the Holy Grail or the Holy Shroud.
If this 4-dot cross is only found in Templar-associated locations or with Templar-associated articles that they may have been safeguarding, I mean, it speaks volumes for our HO stone.
In the 1920s, a massive boulder featuring a number of enigmatic carvings was discovered by treasure hunters on the northern shore of Oak Island. Suspecting that it marked the location of buried treasure, they destroyed it with dynamite in order to dig beneath it. Nothing was found below the massive boulder. However, is it possible that a fragment known as the HO stone, which featured a cross surrounded by 4 dots, represented a key clue that sacred Templar treasures are hidden on Oak Island? If so, could that explain the high trace evidence of gold and other metals that have been detected deep in the Money Pit area?
Every place we visit, it speaks to me that there's an ongoing story here, an ongoing message. We need to look backwards in time, and that's what we've done today, and I think we need to continue to do that.
Yeah, let's go.
We have seen that cross everywhere, from Portugal to the HO stone, and we know for a fact that Templars use that representation, but it certainly is a direct connection to Oak Island.
Rick.
Hai visto, curioso?
Right here.
Queste alte. È Rick.
Yeah, right there.
I see.
which in Latin means here.
I think there's an A even on the far side there.
There's an A here, yeah.
È molto simile, se vedete, al compasso e alla riga. È una forma abbastanza strana.
In his opinion, this refers to a compass. And if you take a look closely, there is also a square. So it could be a Masonic symbolism, which is weird in a church like this, so old and so important here in Viterbo.
A possible Masonic compass? Carved in the wall of a medieval church with known connections to the Knights Templar? Many believe that the secretive fraternity, known as the Freemasons, evolved from the Templar order after their dissolution by the Catholic Church in the 14th century. Curiously, ever since the money pit was discovered in 1795, Freemasons have been involved in nearly every single organized company of treasure hunters that has tried to solve the mystery. Masonic symbols, such as triangles, crosses, and the letter G, representing the divine creator, have also been found all across the island. Is it possible that Alex Lagina has just found more evidence that these organizations are directly connected? And if so, does that also explain what Freemasons have been trying to find on Oak Island for more than 2 centuries?
I just keep thinking about the HO stone, and let me show you this. So, in the church, we saw this. Right? Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
Here.
If you do this, you get the HO stone. And this symbol we've learned today means Templar-related relic. And what have we found that the symbol at the end means?
Some have interpreted it to be gold.
Yeah. If you put it all together, I mean, there's the possibility that the HO stone represents here, Templar, gold.
We know that in medieval times and Middle Age times, they really liked their ciphers. They really liked their hidden meaning. So maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You may have just filled in the blank, or a blank, or blanks. I think it was incredibly insightful of Alex. I think he and Peter worked very well together. I'm very proud of them as my nephews.
Hopefully this means something.
If he's on to something, that is fantastic. We all believe the HO stone is important. The circle and the dot could be the symbol for gold. Is it possible that it hints at or suggests that there's a religious relic associated with the treasure of Oak Island? Well, at this point, there's some strong suggestions that that is indeed the case.
Well, what we did is we took the eyes and boots approach to the information hunt, which is absolute imperative, and that's my thought as we head back to the island.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Grazie. We owe you a debt of gratitude.
More than 4,000 miles to the east in Gozo, Malta.
It's a great entrance, with the bells ringing.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe it's a good omen.
Rick Lagina and other members of the team are investigating an incredible theory about the Oak Island mystery. Over the past decade, Rick, Marty, and their team have made a number of shocking discoveries that may be related to the Templar Order, such as a 14th century lead cross and numerous stone structures that could date back to as early as 1200 AD.
It's just absolutely incredible.
And incredibly, just after their arrival in Valletta, Malta 1 week ago.
Is this clay? It's grayish, bluish.
The legend tells of flood tunnels on the island.
Rick and the team saw underground tunnels that were built by the Knights of Malta in the 16th century, with a similar design to the description of the original money pit.
I did come across a similar pattern here.
They also confirmed that a mysterious button featuring a starburst pattern and which was found 1 year ago on Oak Island, may also be connected to the Maltese order.
I think it is highly suggestive that the Knights of Malta, or an evolution of the Knights of Malta, may have had something to do with the Oak Island mystery. There's a lot of excitement about it and an imperative to follow those leads.
We're in the oldest prison in Malta, and this is a place very rich in symbolism, carvings, graffiti. But I would like, before we get in, to show you something. It's actually behind you. There's something there that you might recognize.
Oh, yeah. That four-dot cross.
A four-dot cross.
The four-dot cross is thought to represent the presence of holy relics at some point in time.
Yeah.
And that's carved on the HO stone back on Oak Island.
Discovered on the northern shore of Oak Island in 1921, the so-called HO stone was a fragment of a much larger boulder that was blown apart by searchers who mistakenly believed that it marked the location of buried treasure. The HO symbol featured a cross surrounded by 4 dots carved into it. And in recent years, the team has not only found this symbol at numerous Templar-related sites throughout Europe, including Portugal, Italy, Denmark, and the Netherlands, but have also learned that it may represent the presence of religious artifacts.
Maybe this, before being a prison, was a place to hide or, keep something that was special to the order.
The four-dot cross, it is on Oak Island. There's no getting around that. We have to follow up on this. It's incredibly important.
Right.
Yeah. Welcome, everyone, to Mdina of Rabat, the old capital of the island.
Rick and members of the team have traveled to Mdina, the one-time capital when the Knights of Malta first took control of the island nation back in the early 16th century.
We're in the Palazzo Falson.
Here, author and researcher Corian Mole has arranged to present them with new research, which he believes will further connect the Knights of Malta to the Oak Island mystery.
I couldn't feel more privileged to be here, and I couldn't be more excited.
Okay.
This is not just my presentation here, it is as much, the research team's presentation. Often we discuss that Oak Island, to some extent, was a generations game. Maybe there were multiple activities of depositing, retrieving, searching over different periods, and the finds on the island now really support that theory. Perhaps there was a real generation of a real family that sort of coordinated this thing behind the scenes. So what do we have here, right? 1187, the loss of Jerusalem, we have William de Villiers, who is the second in command of the Knights Hospitaller, who were eventually known as the Knights of Malta.
Yeah.
In 1307, we have Gérard de Villiers. Gérard de Villiers, he was the master of France at the time. The master was the most powerful Knight Templar in the country at that moment. There is a written record of the treasure of the Templars leaving Paris. After the arrests in 1307, the Templars were rounded up. There were interrogations, the arrests being upon them. The leaders of the order fled. Gérard de Villiers, he escaped Paris, leading 50 horses, and set out to sea with 18 galleys, we believe. They took with them the treasure.
After serving and fighting on behalf of the Catholic Church for nearly 2 centuries, on Friday, October 13, 1307, Pope Clement V and King Philip IV of France made the stunning decision to dissolve and prosecute the Order of the Knights Templar on charges of heresy. However, some researchers believe that the actual purpose was to acquire the priceless relics that the Templars were rumored to have recovered in the Holy Land, including the golden menorah from King Solomon's temple, the Holy Grail, and the Ark of the Covenant. Treasures which the Templars may have begun transporting to Oak Island as early as 1200 AD. Although many Templars were arrested, imprisoned, and executed, some are known to have escaped, and their remaining treasures disappeared without a trace.
We have hypothesized that the Knights Templar fled to Scotland or Portugal. We don't know. What we do know is wherever he went, nothing ever was heard again from Gerard de Villiers, that is, except for his name.
Very interesting.
Everywhere the knights landed, the name de Villiers was there. And then we find the name de Villiers again in 1522. Philippe de Villiers, in whose house we are today, he was the Grand Master of the Knights Hospitaller. In 1530, they take possession of the islands of Malta and Gozo, and we found symbols that suggest that the treasure could have been hidden here. The de Villiers line eventually produced Catherine de Villiers, who was the mother of Isaac de Razilly, the Knight of Malta that landed in La Have in 1632.
In 1632, French naval captain and a Knight of Malta, Isaac de Razilly, commanded an expedition to North America in order to establish France's colony of Acadia, now known as Nova Scotia. For his efforts, he was appointed the title of Lieutenant General for New France. Curiously, the site that de Razilly chose for the colony's headquarters was Fort Point on the La Have River, located only 15 miles south of Oak Island.
So we have an almost direct line of Villiers from Jerusalem to Malta, all the way to Isaac de Razilly in Nova Scotia. That brings us a story, close to home. And was this Templar secret and treasure perhaps handed over to generations of de Villiers and de Razilly?
To me, I think the most compelling part so far is the connection between these people who were in charge of the Knights Templar and the de Villiers who arrived in Nova Scotia. I mean, you've got people connected to both sides of the Atlantic.
Yeah.
The Oak Island story to me was always, even more than multi-generational, it was multi-depositional. And that's what you have laid out today. I'm excited about the possibilities of what Oak Island represents. Corian provided us with some connected tissue and a framework upon which we can build. But right now, it's time to get back to Oak Island and finish the work for the year. My hope is that we can work towards the ultimate goal of really saying, with periods at the end of the sentences, not question marks, this is what happened. And if it is this story, quite remarkable.
It's a great story.
It's been a pleasure.